Housing Commission of Talbot actually started back in 1998. We created a non-for-profit redevelopment corporation called the Eastern Redevelopment Corp. It was a spin-off from the Housing Authority to do non-HUD funded development. First project that we did back then was the Graham's Park project. Many of you probably remember that. And we bought the property from the town, which they also contributed a portion of that. And we created 13 single-family home ownership units. And I'm proud to say today, those 13 original homeowners are still in those houses. This was a very leveraged project. We had money from Federal Home Loan Bank of Atlanta, CDA. We did a private loan from the Mercantile Bank at the time. Buck Duncan, who you all know in the banking industry, was very instrumental in getting that approved for us. The next project that we're currently working on is an also heavily leveraged project, which is called the Port Street Renaissance Project. It's an infill revitalization of blighted properties on the Port Street corridor. This was what we proposed when we made our application to funding to the Strategic Growth Impact Fund, and we also have Neighborhood Conservation Initiative funds in here too. The top photo is the existing condition, the existing conditions at the time when we made application. You look here, it shows the site location, which is a phase site 1, up the upper end by Washington Street, and the essential part of the corridor down to Easton Point, which is the focus of the small area plan in Easton. We're proposing to build 26 units. The black square in there is an essential part of this because it's a historic property which we're in the process of restoring. This is a duplex property that we purchased in the process, which we'll be totally rehabbing also. Next to it, you'll see a replacement house that we did for a family that mirrors the Graham's Park houses. This is another property you'll see that's currently under construction in Easton. It was a duplex. It was part of the acquisition with the SGIF funds and NCI funds. And that is the historic property, which has been stripped down to its bare bones. And we are in the process of rehabbing that now. Here's some of the demolition process that took place. That was the old Clam House building, which was across the street. As you can see, demolition process taking place on that. We have a plan and a rendering that you'll see that is the replacement housing that's going to go back up on that particular site. And there it is. 3 buildings, 5 units total, 2 duplexes and a center single story unit, which will all be affordable. Dover Road Infill Revitalization Project is another infill that we're working on currently. It's a strategic acquisition of 7 lots, a total of 1 acre of land, current conditions of the property. And this is starting at the gateway entry point at Dover Road down into downtown Easton, so you can imagine the eyesore that's there. And it's been there for many, many years. We own the Buffalo Soldier House. It's one of the houses it's on. It's the one on the corner. The building adjacent to it has been torn down. We have plans to start up renovations, and I believe my chair is going to make an announcement today to that effect. This particular project here has an estimated cost value of about $200,000 to renovate.
We're going to make a commitment to start the complete renovation of this Buffalo Soldiers home. Our plan is it will probably cost us close to $200,000 to do, but we're going to know in that neighborhood we will not be able to sell it for that price. So we'll be selling it for somewhere in the area of about $110,000. Hopefully we'll have a lottery and we will sell it to a veteran. Hopefully that we'll be able to move into the project. And there's nothing more important than a person's home. We can talk about their job, we can talk about everything they do, but I've been on the Housing Authority, I don't know how long, a long time. And I know that, to me, even back in Bridgeport where I started with all that stuff, when I was 25 years old, when I was picketing some bad housing, as a conservative Republican, and that's hard for people to understand. But housing to me is the most important thing we have in our lives. Our home, our place to go to, our place to hide, our place to be secure in. But it really is the essence of what a person is their home. And we want to do more. The soldier's home is one of the first things we're going to do. Port Street's an important one. If you walk out, when you drive out here, there's a whole pile of property right along this street, right behind our house. And all along Dotson Street, there's housing that can be repaired and cleaned. And I think there's a responsibility on the part of us as individuals, not only government, but on the part of us as individuals, to do something about housing. We can take care of cars and all the other things that people need. We have to take care of their home first.
We are committed to you, and we want to help you accomplish what your primary goals are. So if you outline them for us, we will be there for you. Funny, as I sort of, I guess, sense the core passion that exists within this group, it mirrors the core passion that exists in my department and the folks that are really responsible for working on a day in and day out basis with you to make things happen. And we have, as you know, through our capability to issue revenue bonds, the financial muscle to do a tremendous amount of good. It's not just general obligation bonds, which is state indebtedness, taxpayer indebtedness, that enables us to do our work. It's not general funds that enables us to do our work. We get $4.7 million of general funds on a $500 million of operating budget. So it's minuscule. That happens to go into homeless grants, and we are very, very focused in our department on homelessness and resolving that, what is a critical problem for the state of Maryland. Where we do get our capitals by issuing revenue bonds, and we pretty much have kind of an unlimited amount that we can issue. And we want to issue bonds in order to fund affordable housing, single-family housing by issuing mortgages, small business lending, municipal infrastructure lending. That whole gamut of basically investing back in the community is our first priority. So I'll go out and in communities where they're eager to get first-time home buyers into their first homes, I offer the opportunity for them to match our down payment assistance so that they can help sort of jumpstart the purchase of a first home by maybe a millennial who really can't figure out their student debt against the first primary mortgage. I mentioned student debt. We're coming up with a concept that we're probably going to launch fairly soon, which would enable a student debtor to roll their student debt into the first-time mortgage for the purchase of their first home. And it's pretty it's pretty revolutionary, and believe it or not, we've had unbelievable support from Fannie Mae and Freddie and the U.S. Treasury on this. We're going to have capital to put behind your projects, and if it's the Buffalo Soldier home, that kind of thing is close to my heart personally, and we'll be there for you. So anyway.